O'Sullivan can repeat the feat from the UK Championship. He is the youngest ever winner of the Masters at 19. He's currently 48. If he won it again, he would be the oldest. It's 30 years since his first appearance. He lost to Dennis Taylor, having won the qualifying event to get here, but then a year later he did win it for the first time, beating John Higgins in the final.
Nice safety shot, that. I mean, I don't think that the fear factor plays a part. Yes, we know O'Sullivan's record against Ding is a very good one, but clearly he's just a better player than almost everybody else, isn't he? That's the problem. But I think if the opportunity came along for Ding to win it, he wouldn't sort of tighten up on anything, like other players I've seen do. It's just a hard man to beat, isn't he, O'Sullivan? That's basically it. And we saw that 6-0 in the UK Championship of last season in favour of Ding, so that tells you he knows how to win.
That's right. I mean, the head-to-head is 20 wins for O'Sullivan, 5 for Ding. But of those 5, one's been a final, one was at the Crucible, and 2 was in the UK Championship. So they're all high profile. The other one was in the Premier League, which is a one-table affair.
Yes, he couldn't quite get the pace on the cue ball there from the position he was in. On his last shot from tighten the cushion was a good one. It's quite a thin cut, this. Actually didn't look all that thin, did it, from that angle? In fact, it was like quarter ball or slightly less. He doesn't always start well these days, O'Sullivan. I mean, he can do, but very often it just takes him a couple of frames to really get into his work. If he can kind of weather the first couple of frames, win them or not lose them both, he tends to crank things up a bit from there on.
6.
Not necessarily doing a lot of damage had he missed it, but I don't think that was very much on his mind, missing that. The players have already said that the conditions are as you would expect
40.
for the Masters. Beautiful, pristine. Table is responsive.
50.
And all of those things will play into O'Sullivan's hands with his touch and control.
Well, he's top of pretty much all the lists
22.
of stats for this tournament. Most matches played, most won, most centuries, most prize money. John
23.
Higgins will be making his 30th appearance. That's one more than O'Sullivan because he did, out of choice, skip a couple of years along the way.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the year after he won the world title and didn't play in anything bar a PTC event
30.
until he won it again the next year. And then there was that 2020 for reasons we're still not sure why he didn't play. The year that Carter got in and, as a consequence, and got to the final, lost to Stuart Bingham.
31.
But you're right. I mean, it's not a tournament you'd expect him to want to miss.
Yeah, and everyone's happy to see him here. Of course, the people who bought their tickets a year ago didn't know who they'd be watching. I'm sure they're delighted with this match. And there you can see all the numbers. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 13
30.
finals he's been in this tournament. And he's only lost his first match 4
39.
times. Last was back in 2011, the year Ding won the title.
I think for all the things that O'Sullivan has won, I can think of 2
46.
tournaments which he's completely dominated. This is one of them with all those finals. The now defunct Premier
47.
League He seemed to win that every year as well, almost.
Well, one other little wrinkle on this match. If he were to win today, O'Sullivan, he'd be guaranteed 30,000 in the quarter-final. So it would take his winnings from the Masters alone to over 2 million.
$53. 54.
Well, I read close to the left middle. It's a very narrow angle. If he's right behind it, he'd fancy potting it. But you've got to be right behind it. That'll do him. If he can run it in
60.
and pot the blue, which is the most likely colour from a delicate shot like this, then Ding could tie the frame. And might
61.
play the blue and try and take him down for the red. But if the blue goes in, as I say, tie is the only way back for Ding. I don't see that happening.
66.
Well, it's a very lively start, this, for O'Sullivan. Of course, Ding was in initially, just didn't get on that black, did he? Couldn't quite see the potting angle of the black when he was in.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Well,
67. Ding
That means
Junhui,
there's
4.
40 in it now, so 2 snookers needed.
Yeah, an 8-point turnaround, isn't it, with the brown not counting and the points going in favour of Ding there, 4. So I think the frame was absolutely over until that last shot. Just found a new lease of life for a moment anyway. Not his greatest ever attempt at getting a snooker, though.
He's looking sharp from the off here. It was a wonderful final they played in York. The finish from O'Sullivan, I was lucky enough to be in the arena commentating. It was just barnstorming the way he pulled away from 7 each.
8.
Got to 8 UK titles. Can he do the same in this tournament?
11.
Yeah, I mean, we can't say that he's going to win this week, but if he got to 8, then it makes you feel that the inevitable will happen at the Crucible
15.
at some point, and he will get that 8th.
$20.
So Ding did have his chance early on. It didn't come to
26.
much. Ronnie O'Sullivan made 67. And he's just mopping up here. O'Sullivan off and running. Listen to the roar from the Alexandra Palace crowd. 1-0 to the Rocket. Day 2 of the Masters off and running. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Ding Junhui 1-0. The winner of this match plays either Neil Rob or Hawkins. They're up tomorrow night. Of course, we already know Sean Murphy will play Jack Lazowski in the quarter afternoon, by the way, the winner of this match, and either Robertson or Hawkins. As I say, Ding did have that early opportunity in frame 2, but just lost position when he was looking good around the black spot. Unusual for him, really. And then
The second
let
frame,
O'Sullivan
Ronnie
in
O'Sullivan,
later
sorry.
on from a poor safety. The tube strikes in London were called off yesterday, which has obviously helped everyone get here, but I think they would have got here anyway for this one. It's an absolute sellout all week. This is true. When Ding won at the Wembley Arena in 2011, they sold around about 7,000 tickets for that tournament. This week, they've sold 30,000. So this Alexandra Palace and everything that's happened in snooker since, you know, it really has become a great home for the event, and there's a buzz around snooker again. You know, the figures are up for the last couple of tournaments, ticket sales are up in general, and we already had, of course, a very interesting opening day yesterday with not a seat to be had.
Sometimes the O'Sullivan prowess in safety is either overlooked or maybe not appreciated, because that was a delightful shot. And quite frankly, when he is right, he has got everything. You know, he's got all the attributes you need. Not only the charisma and the break building and all of that and style, but you know, his defensive game, when he wants to use it, is as good as anybody's. I think the Ray Reardon years, when the great man helped O'Sullivan helps, has made a difference. He just glanced the edge of that. Just, it barely moved the red, but he did make contact with it. Trying to get in behind yellow and brown again here, around 4 cushions. There's another example of my point. Look at that. That's an immaculate safety shot. And the Reds are fairly well loosened up now, so Ding's in a spot of bother here. You know, his last attempt at playing 2 cushions into the bunch, A, the bunch is now a little more open, and B, he didn't exactly play it with a lot of confidence. He's not got a huge area to land in. But nestle the cue ball in there. Has he judged it better? He has. Trying to screw across in behind the green, this time off the edge of that red. I think it's an aspect of the game which, if you're new to it and you're trying to learn these, you may just think, well, just putting the ball down the other end. But there's a lot more in safety than that. That's where someone like Mark Selby has made a career out of making every shot count, whether it be safety or attack.
Well, both the referee and Ding have been trying to get some sort of fly or something off the table with mixed success. Ding's got enough to worry about at the moment without that. If only swatting away Ronnie O'Sullivan was so simple.
Well, he might be forced into having a dart of this long red. It's not necessarily his great strength. Not like his close control. Don't think he had any other shot there but to go for that. It's got a red to left middle. It's fairly acute, the angle, and you know, if he was playing onto the black, it would be quite a difficult shot. You have to use a little bit more force than he would like to, playing into a narrow pocket opening.
One thing that does link them, they both played at a very young age for the first time here. O'Sullivan was 17. Ding was just 16 when he got a wild card in 2004. So they've both got a lot of experience under their belt at playing in this, our game's biggest invitation event.
Very good shot. And also nicely on the blue. That's not quite where he wanted to be. He really wanted to be just a couple of balls width further down, because the red on the left of shot on the black spot is the one he wanted to be right behind. This is not what he wanted to play, this red screwing to middle. No, he isn't in the blue correctly, although chance to run through and take the red close to the pink to the left corner.
12.
Well, the previous shot on the blue was a bit lazy. You know, he had every reason to get straight on the red. It was a basic shot, but he didn't get the right angle. He wanted to be straighter, and that's why he missed the red. Well, it looks like a fairly inviting table, but from cue ball at the bulk end, getting behind the red is not that easy. I think that was quite a good shot in all things considered.
5.
Played just generally into the middle of the scattering of reds there.
Six.
I'll say it again, if he is going to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan for the first time ever in the Masters, he's going to have to hurt him more when he does get chances than he is so far. Because he's making a couple of smallish breaks, which aren't going to make any difference, really.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny table, isn't it? Black and pink, not great. The blue's now off its spot as well. Needs to get things out in the open soon. In general, he's been scoring really heavily this season. Ding, he had a run of 13 matches in a row where he made a century. Did end at the German Masters qualifying, which was not the happiest of occasions the week before Christmas for various of the guys after the highs of the big events, but he was actually knocked out of that. That's where the run came to an end. But before that, he was doing the heavy hitting.
Four.
Well, Dave mentioned the high-value colours not being in play, but in putting the red on the end of the bunch, he'll certainly be moving the pink from where it is now.
Five.
Look at this for an effort. This cue ball, has it got enough pace on it?
$11.
Now, this will give us a nicer view, I think, than what we originally saw of the shot. But by the time it travelled all that way, the cue ball, it wasn't going very quickly.
Ding Junhui, 11.
Yeah, at the moment it's just sort of scraps from Ding, bits and pieces. I think their sort of relationship, it was cemented at that 2007 final, which was pretty hostile. Ding was only young, he was only 19, was heavily beaten. And Ronnie was incredibly gracious. We saw pictures earlier, just concerned for Ding, really, after that final, rather than celebration for himself. That worked out okay, didn't it? He sort of flirted with the jaws of the pocket. It's ended up good for Ding.
Foul. Anonymous. Ding Junhui, 4.
No need for Ding to even leave his chair because he clearly was having that put back straight away. Looking at the two-cushion glance off the right-hand red. And, of course, you can easily get these wrong. You make the adjustment to try and catch the thin edge, and if you overcompensate, you just crash into the bunch. Let's go the other route this time. They got very close that time.
Foul.
I think he might
Anonymous.
persist with that route
Ding Junhui, 4.
if he has it put back, which I'm sure he will. This was very close.
Yeah.
Cue ball's got to go fairly close to the left corner around the first of the two cushions. It's quite a sharp angle into that top red. Now looking at maybe a third route onto the bunch. I thought that last shot was worth a second go at, I would believe. He can afford to give a couple more 4-point penalties away if it means he'll eventually not lose the frame by giving a great chance. Well, contact made, and actually it's not worked out too badly. Well, it doesn't want to be straight on the brown. I don't think there's much angle there. So the blue it is. Unless that's the plant at the end of break. Maybe it is. I'm not sure he played on it. It's kind of drawn out frame, isn't it? We're going over 15 minutes. Not the kind of frame that really suits either player.
Ronnie Sullivan, 6.
I don't think the pockets are overly generous, and of course they're not supposed to be. We saw 1 century yesterday and 100 exactly from Jack Lazowski.
Yes, the sort of the bet that crops up every year of a century in every match has already been scuppered, hasn't it, after yesterday? There wasn't one in the Murphy match, although it was good standard. I think sometimes you can have a very good match. It's not all about, you know, huge breaks all the way through it. It's just some of the dramas that make it more interesting.
Yeah, and frames like this are very significant because it's about focus and concentration and effort, and of course whoever loses it, it's a big blow really in the end. And that's a blow for DING vs Sullivan, knocking in the long red.
Five. Six.
He's only actually lost 3 matches all season, hasn't he? Twice to Zhang Anda and once to Liu Haishan because he withdrew from a few of the other events.
Well, this is the
12.
best chance of the frame. I know the reds are still a little bit awkward. But he's the kind of player that could
13.
make things change very quickly. He might just try and go into the 3 reds here, next to the black. Beautiful shot. It was a real opening, actually. And interesting how gently he played it, because the red played with any more pace would have gone to the right corner. It wasn't really a shot where he had to hit it hard.
$90.
You feel like he's one good positional shot on this blue from getting the frame one and get behind a red. Oh, that'll hurt him. He'll be pretty disgusted with that. Crashing into a bulk colour is
24.
not what he was hoping for. Good recovery.
25. $32.
Again, he'll be disappointed there because the cue ball's got to go all around the angles from the pink to get down for a red. I don't think he can avoid it. And again, there is always a chance of hitting a colour on the way round.
Yeah, it just seemed like there were a lot of balls in the way there. Colours not
30.
sort of in conventional parts of the table. And he overcuts the red.
I don't think he'll have
I know,
enjoyed the way that
30.
break was trying to unfold, because he seemed to be chasing it all the time for position. He never quite got there.
Yeah, just 7 points then in what's been a bit of a scrappy frame, but DING just of course wants to get on the scoreboard.
Well, even though the red's going to be difficult to land in behind, you know, with the black away from his spot, even red to its next colour will be difficult. Played it well, but he does not want to be straight here. It doesn't leave him much to go at. Still some mileage in this frame, unless O'Sullivan plays a good shot here. Well, he has.
5.
Yes, so check of the scores. 17 in front.
10.
Yellow, green and brown for 2-0.
12. 15.
Not the sort of frame maybe he traditionally would enjoy, but it looks like he's put it away all the same. Ding's highest break so far, just 23.
19. 24. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 13.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan has battled away in that frame, and he's got the result he wanted. He's won it, and he's taken the early advantage here at Alexandra Palace this afternoon. He leads here, watching Ronnie O'Sullivan and Ding Junhui in the opening round of the Masters, renewing their rivalry, of course. Latest chapter after that wonderful UK final just over a month ago in York. Reminder, it's 5-0 in this tournament to O'Sullivan. The most meetings, by the way, between two players in the Masters, 7. Stephen Hendry and Jimmy White, two old rivals, of course, played recently, didn't they, in a seniors event again. So Sullivan, as I say, battled away in that frame, and he got the result 2-0. Without really any fireworks yet, he's playing pretty sharply.
Thank you. The third frame. Ding Junhui to break.
So Ding Junhui, highest break so far of only 23 as frame 3 of this best of 11 gets underway.
Well, that was a somewhat rare safety error, because you know that you're going to go close to that right-hand red, but there's usually ways to avoid it. So once again, Ding with an early chance to go at.
One.
You have to start making more of these opportunities when they come. I know the black's tied up, but it's still a chance to get some points away.
Five.
Played on a good red there, that one just very close to the pink ball.
6.
So an insect who's doing the rounds seems to be a lot of the time when Ding's at the table. It's very unfortunate.
Twelve. I
think all snooker fans agree it's good to see Ding playing well again. He's a player who's won a lot of tournaments, 14 ranking events. He's won this Masters as well, of course, but at times also has just gone a little bit AWOL. But that UK Championship propelled him back into the top 16. Made sure he was in this event as well.
18. $19.
Well, he played on this red earlier with an angle to finish topside and knock the red by the black out to the left of it. But again, he's not able to do it from where he's finished.
$25. $30. $32.
Played the big shot there, didn't he? To try and flick the red away. She's, as I say, been what he's been trying to do all frame, but not with any great success this time. Going into the black first, he'd be fuming. Breaks over. Dare I say, a similar pattern to the first two frames. If he takes this on, it's not leading anywhere, quite honestly.
DING JUNHUI.
It's
32.
a break of 32, but not a break which will fill him with a lot of confidence, I don't think. Entirely sure he played it behind the green. I'd say that he didn't. Well, he played to the bolt cushion, not anything else. This frame is in danger of taking the same pattern as the previous two. Ding getting in, not doing an awful lot, and Sullivan just picking up the pieces. That's what happened in the frames 1 and 2. Good shot though there. wonder if O'Sullivan can play this left-hand red. To the left corner, swinging the cue ball wide around the angles. Terrific shot, and the black is there, and that was, I think, the lure of the shot. But he could play on the black and be safe if he missed the red. He doesn't want that back. That's a kiss and a half.
8.
Red to middle, and he's just seeing, I think, whether the pink will go to the same right-hand corner pocket. Quite tight one. He's having a double check. Does it go? My feelings are that it will go, especially if he's right behind it. Well, it absolutely flies, but sometimes you just don't feel so confident when you're looking into the pocket.
9.
Yeah. Get a bust through there, I think, because he got nowhere near hitting the red.
15. 16.
There's just a real keenness to him today, a real sharpness. He's focusing well. Very determined. We saw him tough out that to beat. Black available, red's available. Good chance for 3-0. Another frame where Ding has been in, but just didn't make enough.
Yeah, exactly that, Dave. And something about the chance that Ding had, there was just something a little, not so much
31.
difficult about it. There was just a tricky set of balls to try and overcome. Not the
32.
golden chance which he loves, like all players do, I suppose. But O'Sullivan, he got him with a long red, and he's already 7 from 8 at long range.
39.
And some of them have been pretty telling long pots.
40. 46.
Well, he needs all 3 reds. Now he's brought the only relatively safe one into a very unsafe place. I think he is getting better. I think you're right, Dave. He's sort of focused on the match. He's overcome a few sticky moments. But now, I think he is in full
54.
cry.
Yeah, and he's such a terrific front runner that Ding has problems here. The 4th frame's becoming a big one now. He's got to get involved in this match soon. Otherwise, in about an hour's time, it could be over.
59.
This red is frame ball for 3-0.
Yes, and of course he raced into a 3-0 lead in the UK final in York. And did peg him back in the end, but he's not over so many frames. That final went to 7-all at one point before O'Sullivan pulled
67.
away again.
$69.
He's played in so many great matches in this tournament. Some he's won, some he's
72.
lost. It's 20 years since he lost that final to Paul Hunter. From 7-2 up, he lost to John Higgins, his
76.
amazing clearance. In 2006, Steve Davis beat him in the 97 final, but of course he's had his... Well, the most recent 7 years ago, beat Joe Perry in 2017
81.
to win his 7th Masters title.